Since the introduction of Metavision, there has been a giant shift in how games have played out and the expectations from world-class players. Getting its start as an early concept with smelling a goal and spatial awareness to being damn near future vision has defined a fine line in the sand for many players. Characters able to achieve this new level of superhuman perception fundamentally changed the power level of the series entirely. The new Egoist League was the introduction of this skill's identity and took this concept to its logical extremes, with a big handful of characters being able to consciously see the future of the field. Despite being as strong as it is, Metavision is a weapon that is hampered by the fact that logic and prediction have to be applied towards the field's current state in a very precise way. The precision used with Metavision is filled out by a multitude of variables which need to be factored, resulting in a wealth of complexity for the ability and story, player's protagonist feeling, understanding others' ideal conditions to play in, and whether a player is a genius, talented learner, or a different kind of player. While greatly beneficial for users of this ability, attaining knowledge of these things doesn't make any character an all-seeing god who scales far above players who don't have it. Its logic can be understood and tracked by other players like Corona, Kunigami, Reen, Lorenzo, amongst many others. High-level play doesn't necessitate the ability, it sets a standard for the world-class barrier. In misunderstanding this myself, a wrong impression of Metavision hides its two main purposes. The first purpose is to manipulate the situation into the user's favor to find their desired outcome with a logically sound plan. In this way, the ability's versatility and strength shines but pushes the idea of other players needing to follow a Metavision player's ideas. Although very useful defensively or offensively, they are limited by their ability to create a logical solution in time and grasp the current state of the field properly. Snuffy is a key example of this. He reads the board better than anyone else and functions on both sides of the ball seamlessly. His plans were built off an understanding of the competition and how to make a plan or pattern that could defeat the opposition presented to him. Snuffy is especially important to evaluate because he is able to operate within restrictive and free states of the field. His mentality and his Metavision advance beyond a need to identify preferential styles of play. This may apply to every master in the NEL, as only U20 players were evaluated within Isagi's framework of ideal circumstances to stimulate growth. This led to a thought that parting with preference of playstyle is what most likely placed many players in their world-class status. In a way, this too is a part of Metavision's function. Since it is heavily dependent on logical thought, discarding noise like emotion seems to be the best way to use it. This level of counterbalancing with great reward, if fully grasped, makes almost any user a perfect player to lead any team, as demonstrated by Snuffy and Isagi multiple times. What decisions that are made by these players can again be understood, and that is a key part of all of this. The leader of the team must understand more than the others to relay the perfect plan to his team. This is Metavision's second purpose: understanding. A strong level of understanding is a key reason talented learners are able to adapt Metavision very well. They have to learn the field in greater depth than, say, a genius because they lack those innate advantages for overwhelming creativity and or physical capabilities. The innovation has to happen to compete with the original design, so to speak. This equality is necessary for the story to work because without it, only geniuses would run this story. This is where passive Metavision users become extremely important as well. While they cannot use this skill consciously, unconscious Metavision users create a power scale of this ability in the same way there are different levels of geniuses. Rayo has the ability, but his focus on Nagi limits the skill's versatility drastically, making it easy for Isagi to catch on to his plans. A somewhat similar instance happened to Nico because he wasn't surveying the field properly. In doing this, it created an easy to understand hierarchy where prodigies able to take their talents to a present peak can only be defeated by Metavision users at that same peak. A rational thought process has to compete with illogical playstyles. Metavision offers the pathway to an understandable remedy, and it gives a strong juxtaposition between talented learners and geniuses. Geniuses are powerful solo players, whilst talented learners must flock together to defeat one. This explains the Metavision bargain sale because there sort of has to be one to exemplify the rarity and power of certain types of overbearing geniuses. To name some, there is Noah, Loki, Shido, Baro, Rin, and Nagi when he plays at his best. Compare this to the lineup of 9 Metavision users: Reo, Kaiser, Isagi, Hiyori, Aku, Nico, Snuffy, Karasu, and Charles. There are also some other players like Lavinio, Chris, and Lorenzo that were not given placements on either side. They could just be examples of really good players who don't fit into any single box. This ability to understand different players and levels they operate at is what Metavision has offered Blue Lock's story, aside from just a greater understanding in forging the best lead player. It has also led to some nice theory crafting with geniuses who could possess the ability. Rin can manipulate the field to his advantage, bringing out the best route to score in the rival battle, which is extremely similar to how Isagi creates his plays in the NEL. Noe is in a similar boat because of his strong analytical abilities, so it's possible he could grow stronger to fully unlock the ability. Sei is also a talented learner, presumably because he has Metavision, who also might be a genius, and there's an unknown amount of pros who have Metavision too. All of this is merely speculation, but it encourages the audience to look at each player in a new light and gives the players a benchmark to reach for. Characters like Kunigami, Raichi, Corona, Gagamaru, and so on have proven that they have the potential to keep pace with Metavision users' thought patterns. They just can't explain it all that well, if at all. But they will need to eventually understand their thoughts a bit more to get the most optimal plays. As mentioned before, Snuffy orchestrating a team around his understanding and interpretations is what makes him so strong. He takes advantage of each player's strengths, but there is a key difference between himself and Isagi. Isagi actively brings out a situation that each player he's working with would prefer to create new opportunities. Snuffy pushes an advantage of what is already known. Isagi takes the known and makes it work better given the situation. Isagi has been capable of this for a long while, but some key examples are found in the NEL. Kunigami's past thanks to the half a stake, Hiyori's desire for change, Corona's speed and great passing, Yukimiya's failure making him the last player anyone would think could pick up the ball for a shot, Raichi's defensive strong suit, and Kaiser's thriving play under restriction and ability to give Isagi the freedom he needed to become even better. All of these instances he constructed that bettered the situation and improved each of these players' performance. Metavision as a concept sets a benchmark. It's given a power scale and has a reason to be there because of geniuses. However, Metavision makes players without it easy to predict. Unless you have the ability or are a genius, you will ultimately be used to make a play for these two types of players. It lowers the expectations for others like Yukimiya, who are clearly talented, but because Metavision users or a genius are in play, you will probably be outshined. There needs to be other characters who can counter geniuses with their level of play outside of simply drawing fouls. Kunigami is a great example because he was able to lock down Shido. Ness does this a little as well, but this was within Isagi's expectations, so it's a bit iffy. There needs to be more emphasis on talented players like Kunigami, Lorenzo, Yukimiya, and Gagamaru to close the realm of geniuses and Metavision users so the balance will be completely upset. Good spatial awareness and analytical ability does not always result in a character being a genius or Metavision user. At the end of the day, this standard makes things predictable and at times boring. The moments of amazing plays thanks to in-depth thinking is definitely cathartic. They are genuinely peak moments, but other players deserve these moments too. Despite these compliments and criticisms of Metavision, it is an interesting ability with a simple yet iconic design, especially for Isagi. The NEL focuses hard on this ability as it is Isagi's ticket to world-class football skills, but at the same time it is used to awaken everybody else to new abilities and to make them stronger. I have faith that the skill will be competed with by other players who aren't geniuses or people who don't possess the ability. Again, people like Kunigami, Lorenzo, etc, etc. Hopefully, at least. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please stay safe out there and have yourselves a damn good one. I'll see you all next time.